the piece. Wow, 2 months you've done a lot of wonderful work on this piece. So I congratulate you for that. So my impression was that your range was a little bit more like, let's say, within this much maybe, and I would like your range from pianissimo to fortissimo to be more like this. Even the beginning, notice it's actually, there is nothing but pianissimo, pianissimo, and a few hairpins, which they never go to forte, and they actually don't go anywhere. They seem almost more directional than really dynamic, because there is really no arrival. Sometimes it puts, even piano from pianissimo or mezzo forte, but there is just nothing. It stays all very, very quiet. Almost think as if the opening is maybe more Couperin than Ravel, in a sense, although, well, we have, of course, a very toccata-like piano writing here. Almost something a little bit more delicate. Actually, I should say, think more Ravel, because it's so much more coloristic in that sense.
이 곡의 도입부는 좀 특히 라벨보단 쿠프랭에 좀 가까운 느낌인데, 아까 치신 그 코드 부분 좀 더 섬세하고 좀 라벨의 그런 음색이 좀 더 살 수 있게 해줬으면 좋겠어요.
Yes, so delve more into these very, very special atmospheres of coloring. Toccata, yes, but not too mechanical.
너무 기계적이지 않게.
After all, it was written in memory of this Captain Joseph de Marliave. He must have been a person with a soul to inspire Ravel to write a piece to his memory. So let's just a little bit again dig more into the musical shape. Okay, can we try? So almost forget it's a toccata. Just think of something very impressionistic. Okay, now for my taste, this sorry, I don't play it. Sounds a little bit too repetitive. Maybe you have a rhythm, a little bit. It gives it the music a little bit more purpose.
똑같은 부분이 반복될 때 그 마지막 세 번째 부분은 좀 더 의미가 있고 목적이 있는 것처럼 쳐줬으면 좋겠어요.
In the beginning, are you sure you want to play everything without any pedal at all?
페달을 안 쓰는 거에 대해서 정말 그게 좋다고 생각하시는지.
I mean, I'm not saying you should use pedal. It's just a question because it feels a little bit naked.
약간 발가벗겨진 느낌이에요. 너무 안 쓰셔서 페달.
You don't have to use all the pedal. Sometimes just by brushing the pedal.
그냥 스치듯이만 조금씩.
Because here it's very dry. It seems a little bit too dry.
Yes.
That's promising. But you can use even less pedal. Even less.
그거보단 적게.
Yes, and I also think that what is melodic here, it's written, yes, as 16th, but I wonder if you could stay on the key just like a split second longer for the sake of having more of a melodic design.
다 16분음표긴 하지만 메인 멜로디인 그 음들은 진짜 몇 분에 몇 초만 조금씩 더 건반을 길게 눌러요.
Because if you don't, then everything sounds on the same level. Like where am I? Just a little bit longer so that little bit if you da 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 da. Or can you try longer? Tida, tida, a little bit longer. Something like that. But I think the pedal is very important for shape. And also
쉐입에 있어서 되게 중요해요.
yes, so you are in this register, you can afford more pedal than you think.
그 음역대에선 생각보다 더 많은 페달이 필요합니다.
Ah, yes, so the sound is much better. Much
훨씬
better.
훨씬.
Before it sounded like an etude. I mean, not even, I shouldn't say etude, because etude can be something artistic after all, but sounded a little bit like exercise, technical exercise. This is a Ravel Toccata. So, and what is happening in the structure of the music? We have this repetition. First time, second time, third time. So the third time, give me a little bit more development.
세 번째 나왔던 그 부분은 조금 더 발전된 것처럼.
Yeah, because they sounded a little bit the same. First time, second time, now third time. Okay, very good playing. Once again, so when this goes up, a little bit longer. That's too short. Just, I'm not saying that you should play 8 notes, but just a little bit longer. Yeah, okay, but this color. A little bit like, you know, spelling something good in the air.
좀 더 좋은 냄새를 맡는 것처럼.
Let's start from rem, 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 rem. Actually, even this a little bit more meaningful in terms of the melodic importance. Here's the same thing about ta ta ti ti ta ta. You're playing the 16th chord too short, and I wonder if maybe a little bit of pedal will help you. Ta ta ti ti. Just give you a little bit more sweep. Talk about this new section. So, does this make sense to you in terms of how to? Well, it's about shaping the melody a little bit with more sense of phrasing, and also seeking some colors. Some of these treating really like it's a very artistic piece, not just technical. Anyway, so now this is like a sort of middle section, and it writes a little bit slower. This sounds a little bit pressured. I think you can be a little bit more lyrical, and And then even more sostenuto, and then gradually tempo primo. So this sounds a little bit stiff right now. Maybe this a little bit. Sounds a bit maybe. Try a little bit more, bit more delicacy.
마무리를 섬세하게
Yeah, better. Basically, you have like A and B, A and B. It's like a little conversation.
좀 더 대화하는 것처럼.
Ah, yes, I see something interesting in your fingering, because you're using difficult fingering. Oh, why not? This is like, kind of like in the judo. Very easy. I think you're using very difficult finger. 5, 3, 1, 2. It's too hard. There is no reason. Yes. Come on. Yeah. Yes. So this is the first fortissimo. Make a little bit more climactic, like more dramatic. And again, think always about lengthwise, tira, tira. Let's start from wherever. Tempo primo. Yeah. But where you went pianissimo, you actually went a little bit louder. So I think that if you could keep this really quiet, it would be much better. This is a very magic atmosphere. You know, this reminds very much of the cadenza from the Ravel concerto for the left hand alone. Very similar writing. Not so much the writing, but the melody too. And that's such a piece of poignant atmosphere. If you think of that cadenza, it's so magic, evocative. So you have to really think of this much more like snowflakes.
눈꽃처럼 가볍게 짜주세요.
beyond piano. It's pianissimo. So here is where you start really planning your whole range. So the softer you start, the easier it is to have a broader dynamic range.
지금 이 부분을 조금 더 부드럽게 할수록 나중에 뭔가 음악을 발전시키기가 더 쉬워질 것 같아요.
Okay, we try from there, pianissimo. Before, you don't need to actually make such a separation. Yeah, I think actually it's a little bit strange to hear like this loss of tempo. You can make this just with a tiny comma. Yeah, just a little bit from piano. Find something that gives me the melody. Just a little bit enough length. No, so actually the crescendo can be more. The crescendo is very like ominous, like in my house.
거기 있는 크레센도가 조금 더 불길한 게 이렇게 다가오는 것처럼.
Yes. So again, drop to as soft as you can. It also is going to be it's the melody. No need to stop the music. Just a little bit. Let's try this from here, please. Mi, fa, mi, longer. Yes. So the crescendo more. A little bit of a drop, maybe mezzo forte there. This sounds a little bit too metronome. You can play this a little bit more majestic. It doesn't have to be necessarily so rigid in the timing, but this just with more heated drama.
타이밍이 너무 박자처럼 정확하지 않아도 되니까 좀 더 웅장하고 무게감 있게 쳐줬으면 좋겠어요. Yeah, okay. Pedal until the end. Pedal.
pedal here, then you cut everything off, but no more pedal changes. So yes, so you release everything together. Now, so let's talk a little bit about this. So I think so. The problem here is that there's something similar to what he does with Scarbo. If we think with the mindset that everything has to fit like on a railroad track, well then we are actually already creating a sort of, I don't know, we are like digging our own graves in a way, because of, okay, everything has to just fit there. But then if we think that Ravel, as a master piano composer, wrote this maybe in an awkward way because he was trying to emphasize something in the music that maybe requires a little bit more space, more time, then maybe does a better attitude, which also will benefit the overall musical gesture. Right now, it seems to me that you're trying to fit everything just metronomically, but maybe a little bit of rubato could also ease your worry. In this particular passage, which now we try, but want to make sure that everything is.
라벨은 되게 훌륭한 피아노 작곡가였기 때문에 그렇게 썼던 건 뭔가 우리가 조금 더 피아니스틱하게 더 타이밍이나 그런 노래를 더 풍부하게 해도 된다는 의미거든요. 그래서 그런 왼손의 악센트나 그런 무게감을 조금 더 자유롭게 표현해도 될 것 같아요. 너무 타이밍에 딱 맞지 않게.
So, one thing that I would recommend in terms of how maybe you prepare this, if you think actually a little bit like it's legato, I don't know what finger you're using here. So maybe when you practice, also do it like in a sticky way, with because it gives you a little bit more grip, I guess, in this particular case. But in terms of the execution, again, if you think a little bit more, maybe you can afford a bit more of shape. Again, just like you are really, it's difficult and you want it to sound a little bit difficult. You don't want it to sound, oh, I can play this perfectly in tempo. And so I'm saying that there is a reason. He could have written this much easier, like, but he found very, very awkward things. And this too. Just allow yourself just a little bit of time. Just shape it. Don't attempt to place everything within this metronome cage.
라벨이 좀 훌륭한 피아니스트였다고 했잖아요. 그래서 피아노와 우리 손을 잘 알기 때문에 훨씬 더 쉽게 쓸 수도 있었지만 그렇게 어색한 포지션을 쓴 건 이유가 있겠죠. 그래서 그거를 너무 타이밍 안에서 완벽하게 쳐야겠다는 생각보다는 좀 더 노래하는 방향으로 쳐주면 좋을 것 같아요.
So maybe start from here and again treat it with a little bit more shape. Yeah, this is a good place. Here, so I'm using 4/5. No, what about 1/4, 1/3/5? What do you think? You want to try it? least if you use 4. Maybe rubato. Good. See, actually, you try to space a little bit this. It sounded better because it sounded like I'm hearing the interval. If you play it perfectly a tempo, even if it's perfect, but then why did he write this way? There is this interesting story I heard. I watched a video about. Actually, it was Rostropovich that was in an interview saying something about Prokofiev writing a very awkward passage for a brass player, and Rostropovich asked him, "Why did you write this kind of thing?" And he said, "Because I want to see the brass player like getting very red, and there is something about sometimes it's even in the difficulty it enhances the sense of drama in the music, and I think this is one of those cases for how he wrote it, especially in the climax of the piece. So it's almost like he really wants the pianist to deal with something difficult, not to just toss it off and treat it like it's nothing.
가끔은 음악의 이제 연주에 있어서 어려운 그런 부분들이 우리가 연주를 할 때 음악에 좀 더 드라마를 부여하는 그런 경우들이 있어요. 그래서 아까 뭐 프로코피에프도 그렇게 작곡하셨다고 이제 얘기를 하셨고, 이 부분도 라벨이 조금 더 우리 손 포지션에 조금 더 어려움을 주면서 우리가 그걸 어떻게 해결하고 어떤 방식으로 음악을 표현하는지 보고 싶었다고 그렇게 하십니다.
So yes, he really wanted us this to suffer a little bit. But anyway, I think that you have worked on this piece only for 2 months. If you continue in this direction, soon you will be in complete ownership of the piece. And I think also that you can control the piano very well and find very beautiful colors if you commit to also the music in the piece, not just the technical perfection, but ultimately, again, I think it's a beautiful impressionistic piece of music, not just the toccata in a dry sense.
그러니까 2달 만에 이렇게 한 게 굉장히 훌륭하고, 앞으로 이대로 하면 훌륭한 이 작품의 이제 주인이 될 건데, 너무 토카타의 그런 테크닉적인 부분만 생각하지 말고 좀 더 아름다운 인상주의 작품인 걸 꼭 생각하고 노래를 좀 했으면 좋겠다.
Good. Are we doing with time? I lost track.
We have more like 30 minutes, but
13 or
13 minutes.
13.
Yeah.
Would you like to play something else maybe, or even don't know if you have more questions about this piece, or would you like to try the piece? It's up to you.
다른 작품 치고 싶거나 아니면 이 작품에 있어서 더 얘기 나누고 싶은지.
지금 치고 있는
어떤 거예요?
협주곡인데
어떤?
차이코 1악장 도입부.
He wants to play Tchaikovsky piano concerto, like only the beginning part.
Sure. Do you have the music or?
악보 있어요?
Yes.
Great. Yeah. Sure. Let's do that.